Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. This is Joe with the Local Search Association, and I'd like to welcome all of you to LSA's webinar series. Today's webinar is titled Reaching Nearby Customers with Mobile Location-Based Technology for SMBs, and will be brought to you by our guest presenters Tim Garcia and Jason Mascari from Moasis. With that, let's get started. Over to you, Tim.
Hello, everyone. I would like to thank you all for your time today and joining this webinar. I also would like to thank Joe and the Local Search Association for hosting this event and giving Moasis a forum to present our thoughts on the market. As Joe mentioned, my name is Tim Garcia. I'm the Business Development Lead for Moasis Global, and my goal is essentially to establish key relationships with technology companies, advertisers, brands, publishers, developers, and distribution channels to bring the Moasis technology to the global market. And just a brief overview on Moasis. Moasis was born when a couple of marketing professionals realized the way consumers interacted with information and location had changed, but the tools available to reach them lagged far behind. It became our mission to unify and simplify local mobile marketing and to create new possibilities for marketers and businesses of all sizes. We are headquartered in San Francisco, and our team combines deep knowledge in both the practices of marketing and the technologies disrupting today's information ecosystem. We've developed a platform based on the fusion of location data and multi-screen delivery with the flexibility to weather the ongoing change in digital media and local marketing. Essentially, we've been out of stealth mode since August 2012 when we launched our agency and brand solutions to the market. And with a solid solution in place, and since our launch last August, we have also deployed our publisher solutions as well as our new SMB product, which will be discussed later in the presentation. So the format of the webinar will go as is. I will briefly discuss what Moasis is solving in the market. I'll give a 30,000-foot overview of the Moasis technology and the benefits. I'll update the audience on the state of the union for the small business or merchant. Then I'll show a short video before I pass it on to my colleague Jason Mascari, who is our Chief Product Officer, and he'll give an overview of our new SMB product that is very unique to the market. And then we can open it up for questions and answers. So with that said, let's begin. So if you ask the question today, what is the industry asking of marketers today? Well, we know that the industry is asking marketers to be, of course, marketing experts. Marketers need to know how to effectively market a product creatively to either gain mind share or draw an immediate action from a consumer. But marketers also need to be data and consumer gurus, meaning they need to know who their audience is and how to segment that audience to get effective results with their campaigns. Thirdly, marketers need to be delivery platform experts, meaning they need to know how to get their marketing message to their audience and what are the effective distribution channels to do so. Lastly, a focus the industry is also asking marketers to be are location experts. As you know today, most of mobile marketing campaigns are derived from the geofence, which consists of a radius around the store or point location. But what happens when these location borders change? They increase in size, they decrease in size, or even overlap. Or even worst case, a summer intern is drawing the borders for the campaign, which can get quite messy. Well, in essence, the data about your campaigns and advertising has no real place to live because these borders are not standardized. Therefore, the geofence does not get more intelligent over time. It's rather subjective. And the only constant is there is no constant. It varies. Basically, mobile marketers currently face a cluttered and complex environment characterized by a proliferation of vendors, technologies, and user interfaces. And this fragmentation results in part from the fact that marketers currently define the size and shape of geofence target distribution areas that may or may not align with the consumer traffic patterns and behaviors of device users and prospective customers. So what Moasis has done is organize the world so the marketer doesn't have to be that location expert. We recognized that mobile advertising was just way too complicated for all types of marketers. So we wanted to simplify things and create an easy way to organize, analyze, and deliver mobile campaigns. So we have developed the Smart Grid, and this standardizes the infrastructure of the mobile ad ecosystem. It defines the borders as we, Moasis, are the landlords of the grid. It holds data and gathers intelligence over time. It simplifies the mobile marketing delivery by choosing the cells to reach your audience, enables the advertiser to easily choose an audience and location, and allows ease of optimizing by basically turning on and off the grids that are not performing well, thus not wasting budget or impressions. And it has the ability to serve all screens, not just the mobile and tablet screens, but also place-based digital out-of-home screens, which are the dynamic screens you see in gyms, hotels, in the back of taxi cabs, and even shopping malls. Our system allows marketers to design and easily manage campaigns on a micro or macro level, and the platform aids businesses in creating an ad, targeting a specific location down to a couple city blocks or less, selecting an audience, and then setting their own budgets. Businesses can change their campaigns on a day-to-day or even hour-to-hour basis and optimize based on which locations are working the best. So the foundation is possible from our globally patented smart grid technology. So what are some of the opportunities with the smart grid? Well, you can target POIs and business listings within the smart grid. For example, if Starbucks wanted to target all the locations in New York, our platform does all the heavy lifting and recognizes where those Starbucks are located and delivers the advertisement to the consumer in that area. This applies to local merchants as well. For example, the coffee shop around the corner can do this exact same thing, and really this levels the playing field for all businesses. Also, you could target your competitor's location or geo-conquest. For instance, if Starbucks wanted to target all Dunkin' Donuts locations, it can do that as well, or vice versa if Dunkin' Donuts wanted to target Starbucks locations. Now, what is really powerful is the ability to target a venue or an event in the area. If there's a country music concert at Madison Square Garden, you can tailor your creative to that concert and that audience at that time. Alternatively, you can change your creative if there's a Knicks game the day after at MSG to that specific sports audience during the game. But the smart grid doesn't just target locations, it can also target an audience. Because our system has the ability to hold first-party data and augment third-party data, the smart grid is an intelligent consumer profiling tool. The marketer can leverage the third-party data such as Polk, Esri, Axiom, and others that are in our grid, but also can leverage the first-party data that's being broadcast from consumer engagements on those campaigns in the grid. This way you can target specific demographics, audience segments, and types of consumers in our intelligent location engine. So staying ahead of the curve for mobile targeting companies like us is key. According to Gartner, mobile ad revenue will increase by 150% over the next few years. And also, according to BIA Kelsey, mobile ad spend will shift to local, being larger than national in 2014 over the next few years. It's just a matter of who and how. So a more recent example, I guess, of an opportunity for mobile spend, just from observing in our own backyard, San Francisco, is a street corner marketing campaign that could benefit from our type of technology. Zipcar, which is the world's largest car sharing and car club service, is currently setting up promotional tents all around San Francisco at key locations, such as the Caltrain stations, nearby bus stations, and on Market Street near high traffic and financial areas. Each location, although properly placed, has a cost associated with it, including print materials, tent and table rentals, free breakfast, yogurt, and coffee, and of course, wages for the reps at the tent. I'm sure everything after being tallied up, the cost of this campaign would be relatively high. So however, if Zipcar used mobile marketing as their go-to means of messaging, there could have been a cost savings associated with targeted display ads to that same audience and driving the consumers directly to their website to register for Zipcar. Secondly, if Zipcar wanted to continue with the street corner advertising and pay all that money for the advertising, mobile marketing could complement to that tactic, meaning a mobile display ad could be delivered stating where those local tents are in San Francisco to sign up for Zipcars and receive a free yogurt and coffee. Also, Zipcar could not only target the same areas, but could target all passengers on the Caltrain coming from the South Bay. The means are there, it's just a matter of leveraging the technology to do so. So now that I've discussed a little bit about the Moasis capabilities, I can talk about the topic at hand, which is the small to medium-sized business, or SMB. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, there are over 27 million small businesses in the U.S., a majority of which are trying to market themselves in some form or fashion. This includes all the usual suspect marketing tactics, right? So it's email marketing, word of mouth, customer referrals, yellow pages and search engine directories, print advertising, television, radio, online advertising, search engine optimization, social marketing on Facebook and Twitter, and mobile advertising, and even worse, using this not-so-attractive naked guy as your street advertiser. Nonetheless, finding new customers is the major challenge for small business owners. Small businesses typically find themselves strapped for time and, of course, cash. But in order to create a continuous stream of new business, they must work on marketing their business every single day. So what is keeping SMBs up at night? Well, based off research by Constant Contact in 2012, SMBs were most worried about the top two items: how to attract new customers and how to connect and better engage with customers. This is almost common sense. But well, also based off the same study that is now public, SMBs did not see their marketing budget decrease for the specified time frame. The majority of those surveyed saw the budgets increase or stay the same. And because the economic trends haven't changed drastically for the SMB in 2013, in fact, I would argue their position is getting even stronger, and they're starting to explore other marketing tactics, you would think these statistics still hold true, where the marketing budget either remains the same or increases. So there are many marketing options out there, but today's focus, as I mentioned, is leveling the playing field with mobile and local for the SMB. So what is the industry starting to see in the SMB? Is that SMBs not only understand traditional marketing tactics like print, radio, and email marketing, and those are typically their go-to comfortable tactics, but they're also becoming very familiar with online advertising, search engine optimizing, Google AdWords, social marketing, and they may even know they need a mobile website presence. However, when you talk to them about mobile, you might get a couple of looks like this. Totally confused, eyes are glazed over, look of disgust, or possibly just falling asleep in the middle of the conversation, especially when you talk to them in the mobile advertising jargon such as CTRs, CPMs, RTBs, impressions, and so on. There's no way you're going to keep their attention. So as I mentioned earlier, Moasis is here to really level the playing field for SMBs so they can be on the same grandstand as major brands and advertisers by basically providing them the simplicity they can understand that is very linear to the everyday marketing print tactics, which will be evident in the demo by Jason later on. And also getting rid of the buzz terms and abbreviations and enabling understandable language, pricing, and technology in the layman's terms. So a great example of an SMB that utilized our system and saw fantastic results was a quick service Mexican restaurant in the Bay Area named Lulu's. Because they understood our technology capabilities as Moasis, they were able to target several locations in the Bay Area, including major technological business campuses such as Google, Facebook, and Oracle, basically bringing in those employees at those campuses into Lulu's locations. And they also targeted specific towns and neighborhoods at a granular level. And here are some of the examples of the tailored messaging for those campuses, which you can see can get very creative. So leader in social, meet the leader in comida fresca, leader in search, meet the leader in comida fresca, tech meet taco, and so on. But the most notable targeted exercise for Lulu's was the Stanford campus campaign. Knowing the restaurant was just a couple of blocks from campus, they wanted to target all the students on campuses at a hyperlocal level. Lulu's was able to mock up creative based on the audience, target specific location at Stanford, and optimize based on which cells are working and turn off the ones that were not working. They were able to serve ads on University Avenue, which is home to many of the Palo Alto bars and restaurants during peak going out hours, as well as target a captive audience of 40,000 people plus during a Stanford football tailgate time and game time. This had incredible results of over a 20% click-through rate due to the nature of the ads in the locality and the hyperlocal nature. But Lulu's hasn't taken advantage of the Moasis SMB product yet. This campaign was a result from our agency user interface. Before we dive into our SMB platform, I want to show you a brief video of that SMB challenge with a traditional marketing tactic being used today, which is the flyering.
All right, here comes somebody. You've got to be paying attention here. Come on now. Oh my goodness. Almost shoved it in his stomach. No, it doesn't want one? Come on, buddy. You can get one. You can get one. Guys on the phone, that's not going to work. All right, lady to the right, to the left.
So as you can see, this type of marketing is pretty much just a waste, but yet it's still around today. Even though humorous at times, you quite often see flyering in major cities or suburban areas when people are handing out flyers for a nightclub or restaurant. Or you may even see people wearing a sandwich board on the corner try to bring you into a car wash or get you into a local accountant for taxes at tax season. Nonetheless, as the picture clearly shows, times are changing, and the means to reach your consumer is mobile. If you notice the guy on his phone in the video, he was already engaged with his device and possibly being served an ad that is local and relevant. It's just a matter of translating this to the SMB, which you'll see with our new product that is very unique to the market called mFlyer. And with that said, I'll hand over the reins to Jason Mascari so he can give an overview of the product and why it resonates with SMB. So with that said, I'll take the controls and hand them over to Jason.
Great. Well, thank you, Tim. Tim did a great job of kind of giving you an overview of that mobile space as it stands today and really painting the picture that it's still very difficult to get into this space and do it effectively, especially for that small business. So like you mentioned, we've just released a brand new product called mFlyer that we're very excited about that really streamlines, makes it easy to use and easy to understand this new mobile flyering technique. So with that, basically one of the first things we've done is we've really correlated this product to, like what Tim just showed you, people are still using print flyers today. How can that translate into this new 21st century type of digital flyer? So that's really what this mFlyer is. So this product right now, it allows you to get your mFlyers or these digital banners displayed on all these top websites and applications in the locations that you choose. So as you see, we're linked into applications like the Weather Channel, Pandora, and so on, where now you can have your flyer, this new mFlyer, shown within these applications and websites when that person is walking down the street like you saw in that video, as they're engaged in their device in that location that you chose. So one of the key things is if you start looking at the actual cost of print flyering, it really starts to get pretty staggering if you're doing that regularly. So like Tim mentioned, a bar or a restaurant, if you're doing that on a weekly and monthly basis where you have people going out on the street corners or even paper flyering on those cars in those areas, the quantity, so you have these physical products, the timing to get those, so you can't, it's not real time, you can't create your creative, print it off, and have it ready to go in that same day or that same hour. It's very hard to track the engagements with that. And two, you're kind of limited to how many people you have to actually go out there. So you can't have multiple locations going at different times, and it certainly gets costly if you have different messaging in different locations. So that's where we've developed this mFlyer. And like Tim mentioned too, right now with all the jargon, real-time bidding, cost per impressions, cost per clicks, and so on, it gets very confusing. So what we've done is we've really packaged this into what SMBs are familiar with, monthly pricing. So we have affordable monthly pricing that gets these mFlyers up and running. It's a kind of an always-on solution, so you can always have that presence around your locations or these events that are going on. And then on the back end, we're handling all the real-time bidding and all this technology that people right now kind of have to take on themselves. So we do have monthly plans. You can prepay for a discount, but we also have pay-as-you-go. So if you just want to buy a bulk of these flyers, these mFlyers, you can do that as well. So with that said, what I'm going to do is just quickly take you through what that interface looks like. So if you were to sign up today, first thing when you log in, we take you through a pretty easy 6-step process to finish that registration, create that first flyer, and have it up and running in those locations you choose. So an example I'm going to use is a retailer in the Grand Rapids, Michigan area. So what we do here is all we need is your business name, the location of that business. You hit the search button, finds it on the map. You can confirm that that's you. So then the next step, what happens is it will populate all your business information for you. So the name, city, your address, website address, Facebook address, and so on. Obviously, if any of this looks wrong, you can easily change that, but we try to eliminate some steps for that SMB so they can quickly be up and running. Next step is we would populate the business category for you, which I'll explain why that's important here in a bit. And then the fourth step is what we do is we go out, these small businesses have taken a lot of time to develop their websites, even have their social media presence with Instagram, Facebook, and so on with these photos out there, but they don't always have these image assets at their disposal. And either they had a graphic designer do it, they just don't have it. So what we do is we go out, since we have their web address now, some of their social addresses, we will crawl the internet to grab some of those images for them. So either A, if you already have a banner image ready to go, you can click here to upload it, or you can start developing that right here from these images that we've grabbed from the web. So as you can see, I can select any of these images, I can scale it, move it around. I'll go back to what I set up here. So some simple tools to easily create these banner images. Now, as you get down to the copy, another thing we recognize is sometimes small businesses are kind of at a loss of what they should say on this banner. So if you remember in the last step, you've chosen the business category, or we've pre-populated it for you. What that does is provide some sample copy for you based on your industry. So as you can see here, these are kind of retail-focused type sales copy. So you can choose any one of these. As you see, it populates here, shows it on here. I can obviously change that, move that around. I have full flexibility to change my font size, font color, and so on. So you have all the tools to quickly create those banners right here on the interface. Then the next step is what happens is you see that banner within that application. When you click on it, it would present this screen here where you can, again, choose images, upload an actual flyer if you want, have the full freedom to change your text here. So that will populate here. And again, you can move your image around, change it, and so on. So all the tools to quickly create that flyer, that M flyer. So in this fifth step, this is where it gets interesting and exciting for us, where we've developed this grid technology. We center it to your location. So as you see, it's pinpointed on the map here. I can easily enter a location as well, and that could be a city, state, address, zip code, point of interest, like a stadium and so on, where there might be an event going on. It'll identify the cell for you. Or you can just zoom in and quickly start selecting these on your own. So say you want this M flyer sent out around your business. Maybe there is the event that's happening downtown. So I can select whatever locations I want that flyer active. Then basically you just schedule it. So same as if you did do those print flyers, and give a staff to one of your employees, say go out in the street corner on this day and this time, same thing. Select that day that you want it active, set the time, so maybe you want it active from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. and you want 100 M flyers sent out. You can easily do that and schedule whatever day you want. And that's it. So that's really the kind of the quick steps to get these M flyers active, up and running, and in the locations you choose. As you saw before, we do have some affordable pricing. However, one thing with this initial launch of this new product, we do offer up 1,000 free M flyers to start using it, to just test it out, see how it works for you in your area. But if you are ready to choose a plan, you can go here to do that. So one of the other cool things is we started building these tools for that SMB to really help kind of guide them in some strategies. So now that you've set up this M flyer, when you log back into your account or you go to the dashboard, quickly you start to see how many flyers you have remaining, if you have a monthly plan, and so on. But what's cool here is in this events kind of scrolling area here, we're tying in a lot of event APIs, so quickly you can start to see, you might not be aware of some events that are happening in your area that might correlate to the type of consumers you want to reach. So let's say there's a sporting event going on right now. All I have to do is hit that button to activate my flyer, choose that one I created, however many flyers I want sent out for that event. Once I hit save, basically our system takes that address, selects the correct locations or those cells on the grid. We also take the date and the time to activate the schedule for you. So from one button, you basically can have these now digital flyers active around these events quickly and around events that you never even knew were happening. So those are the type of tools that we're trying to build for SMBs to really make this easy, really understandable, and kind of make that transition from print flyers to now these digital flyers. Also, obviously with reporting, another benefit to having these digital flyers, this campaign isn't running, but if it was, you would see, you can choose the flyer, the time, the date range that you want to view these reports for. So you can see how many M flyers were delivered, how many were opened. We automatically populate a click-to-call button from your business listing information. So if you remember that second step, we have your address, phone number, website, and so on. So after they click on your banner image or that M flyer image, that larger image that's presented, we also give the user the ability to do a click-to-call, click to a website, and click for location. And then you see all the reporting there for how many people did that. So that's really the kind of a quick run through of how we're trying to solve this very fragmented, very hard to use industry of mobile and especially local marketing. So with that, we can open it up really for any questions.
Do you offer a white label solution?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Joe. We do offer a white label solution, and that's more for our agency and brand products. For MFlyer, we do not. It's more of a reseller model. So no, not at the moment for MFlyer, but our agency and brand solutions, yes, we do.
The interface looks easy to use, but is there any way to customize the targeting or reporting?
Sure, this is Jason. I'll take that. Great question. And what you see is with this new MFlyer product, we really try to really make that as easy as possible for the SMB to kind of make that transition and get into this new local marketing. However, a product that we didn't show you, and kind of one of our flagship products, is our agency and brand solution, which, as Tim started showing you in the presentation, this grid really becomes powerful, where you can change your messaging per an individual cell, you can change scheduling, you can link into all these third-party data providers like Polk, Experian, Esri, where now you can layer their information into intelligently selecting location. You can set bids and budgets per an individual cell. So in that interface, you have a lot of flexibility. So what we're seeing with SMBs is you can start with MFlyer if you really start to become comfortable with that, or if you're already a savvy marketer, you've been using Google AdWords, Facebook ads, and so on, you kind of get the whole cost per impression model and so on, you could jump right into our agency interface, which does give you all that flexibility.
With 100 or more businesses in the same target area, when every business chooses to send out a flyer, won't that overwhelm the consumer? And if done too often, it will cause the consumer to end the contact with the business.
Sure, I can take that. So with our system, and another beauty of the grid is so you have your advertisement targeting that individual cell, and if multiple businesses are targeting that cell, again, on the back end, we're trying to handle a lot of that, that technology, that logic. We will cycle through those ads. There's also a bidding component where the highest bidder tends to be shown. So the consumer is never being overloaded with numerous ads. So at the time of the impression, when they're engaging with that website or application, there's a lot of logic that's determining what should be sent other than others, and then we cycle through that.
Do the recipients need to opt in to get the messages?
No, they do not. So basically, with our relationship with a lot of these publications, either directly or through or linked into all the major exchanges, these applications and websites we'll take a weather type application, for example. It's already grabbing your location based on your interaction with that website or application. So that's where now we can serve locally relevant advertisements. So we don't have our own application where you have to opt in. It's really when you're utilizing a location-aware application or website, that's when we can serve these location-aware ads.
Is there a minimum spend?
Another good question. So in the MFlyer product, it is either the monthly plans or the pay-as-you-go. So if you're choosing that, like $15 a month gets you 1,000 MFlyers. You can have that run indefinitely. You can cancel at any time, so there's no risk there. The pay-as-you-go plan, you can just buy 1,000 and then use them at will. So that's the MFlyer product. In our agency product, again, it's very linear to what you may be comfortable with Google AdWords, Facebook, and so on, where you set your daily budget and then your impression bid, and it's really up to you. It could be $5 a day that you want to spend, all the way up to 5,000 or more a day.
What is the difference in price from MFlyer to agency model?
Sure. So yeah, I think we kind of covered that. But again, in the agency interface, it really gives you the flexibility in real time to set your individual impression bid. So it is a CPM or CPI model, and then you set your daily budget as well. And again, the other cool thing about it is you can set a bid and budget per location. So maybe I target the entire city of Chicago, and have an affordable daily budget, affordable impression bid. Then on Michigan Avenue, maybe during the holidays or the shopping season, whatever, I can really bump up my impression bid per those individual cells, or around my competitors or an event. So that allows you to, some of this technology out there right now is you have to target an entire DMA. You're locked into your impression bid and your budget for that entire location. With this grid, now you can manipulate that and really, and like Tim also mentioned, you can turn cells off that aren't working for you. So say you target an entire city, quickly in the reporting you can start to see what's skewing more towards your message, turn off cells that aren't working, reallocate budget, so you have a lot of flexibility there.
Your presentation showed the value of business to consumer, but I can see business to business targeting industry conferences, etc. Is this being done? If so, how effective has it been?
Sure. I can't provide the reports and the statistics from it, but we did have even some home builders looking at this where there was a home building conference where they had all the kitchen and baths and so on all in one area, and they were targeting that, come stop by our booth. Also even targeting competitive contractor locations. So people are getting creative with the ability to use this. Initially you think with local advertising, especially in these digital world, you think of restaurants, bars, physical retail locations, foot traffic. But we've been surprised to see how even service-related industries can do just that. The local plumber can target around Home Depots to have their message to come use, hire a professional for your remodel work or whatever. And again, those conferences like mentioned by the person asking the question.
In the identity field, can an agency put in RCF phone number so we can track call volume?
Again, we'd love to set up another webinar here to kind of show you the agency interface, but with that you do have a lot of flexibility where you can do pixel trackers. You can enter those, when you click on the banner, a link to a tracking service, or even those macros within it. So you do have that flexibility. Even within the MFlyer product, if you are a little more savvy and kind of thinking ahead in those links, you could put those same tracking links and so on in there. So it is possible, but if you're that savvy, we'd probably want you to be using the agency interface where you'd have a lot more flexibility.
The dashboard is nice and clean, but how does a SMB translate metrics into value business?
Sure. So one thing we've done in the reporting section is in that graph, so as it starts populating your traffic, so how many impressions, clicks, and so on, we do present some icons, some little light bulbs that if you're reaching a higher than normal click-through rate for the industry, a little light bulb will appear that you're doing something right. So there's that metrics of the whole click-through thing, but even with the ability to look at click-to-calls, you can start to see how many impressions I got, how many translated to call, but really very similar to sending out these print flyers where someone's handing it out. A lot of these small businesses, and one of the people on our team was a small business owner for a restaurant and bar. You can start to see your POS system, and so if you wanted to try out MFlyer on a slow day on, say, Wednesday, you can start to somewhat correlate that to the lift in POS. However, in the agency interface too, we do have some couponing options and so on that can end up linking back into the POS system to even provide that tracking. So there's definitely all the information that is there to kind of sift through and see what that lift is generating.
Is there a way to highly target based on category or search term?
So right now, with Moasis, our goal is really becoming intelligent about the location that you're targeting. So it's not search-based or category-based. What we found is we actually released some features where you could target categories of websites and applications, but with how granular we get, sometimes that really limits your reach. And for instance, we had a client that wanted to target golf courses and wanted to be on golf websites and applications. However, what we were finding is the people on the golf courses weren't on the golf websites and applications. They were checking the weather or even booking airplane tickets, all these random things that you wouldn't really think about in the location that they're interacting with. So what we try to do is provide the tools to intelligently select locations. So that's either based on demographic information, like I mentioned, we are linked into Esri, Axiom, and so on, and also our first-party data. So we know in these given cells that there might be a high engagement in pizza-related ads or offers. So that's our focus. It's not necessarily around search.
Back to the location-aware apps that you tie in to deliver your ads, does the user have to be using it at the time, or will they get your flyer if they're not currently using the app?
So right now it's when you're actually engaged in that website or application. So you'd have to have that open and engaging with it. So you would see that ad as you're browsing the content. There is a potential look at push notifications, but what we are really trying to balance is we don't want to be intrusive. We want to have an experience where people aren't getting pinged every time they're going through this grid and going in and out of these different cells. So there's potential for that in the future if the experience works, but right now it is. You open up that website or application, you're engaging in their content, and the ads are complementing that local content.
Do you have a fat finger filter?
We do not have that. What we try to do is we're linked into some top quality inventory, and we do some things on the back end to try and limit any kind of click fraud and that sort of thing, but we don't have a fat finger filter.
If my car rental business is located in California, can I target the East Coast travelers?
So if your business is located in California, well, I mean, this really gets into strategy and objectives. Obviously, we'd like to hear more, but you have full flexibility of targeting any location that you want. So obviously, that could be around your actual location. I don't think in that scenario you'd want to actually target locations on the East Coast. You could target around airports, so these travelers and so on. So I'm sure there's potential to, and again, with the data providers that we have, there is some demographics around business travelers or where people live and so on. There could be potential for that, but would definitely like to hear more about the strategy.
Do you currently partner with any apps like Yelp, Google Maps, Weather? Is there a list somewhere?
Sure, I can answer that, and Tim, if you have anything to add, feel free to jump in. On our website, it does show some of our exchange partners. Certainly, if anyone requests that, we can provide a list that's more relevant to some of the targeting they want to do. Tim, do you have anything to add?
Yep. Yeah, we're connected into all the mobile ad exchanges, which has over 6 billion monthly location-aware impressions or more. So we are connected into a lot of mobile websites and applications. I mean, there's a huge list from every ad exchange that we work with. And we can provide some more detail if someone wanted it.
What kind of traction are you getting in the market right now?
Yeah, so for the agency and brand side of things, we're getting a lot of traction, and also with media, with bigger media companies that would love to use our system within their own ecosystem. But for M-Flyers, this is our shiny brand new product right now. So this is actually just being launched in the last week and a half or so. So right now we have resellers that are lining up to resell this product. So the traction is minimal because it is so brand new.
Are you available to discuss strategies for potential clients?
Yes, we are. And our website, or excuse me, our emails are on the screen right now. So feel free to reach out.
Sure, and also on our website, and if you have an account, there's a link for live chat and a help phone line as well. So certainly can be available to help anyone discuss strategy, give them a walkthrough of the product for their specific needs as well.
How does M-Flyer differ from your other offer?
It's more simplified for the small business. Our agency user interface is a lot more is a lot more robust. Has a lot more tools for someone that's savvy, and that's usually in the agency world or higher in the food chain for a small business that really knows their marketing tactics and capabilities.
Does it look different to the end user?
So it doesn't look different to the end user, other than, like we mentioned with the agency interface, there is the ability to, you can bypass the mobile landing page, you can link differently and so on. So that initial interaction with the user is seeing that banner ad. So that interaction, whether it's using M-Flyer or the agency product, is not different. But after they click on that banner, it could be slightly different.
So with that, I'd like to thank Tim and Jason for conducting today's webinar. We appreciate all the great info. I'd also like to thank everyone for attending today. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact us at LSA and we can connect you with today's presenters. We have more exciting webinars coming up this summer, so stay tuned for those. Also, don't forget about our Social Plus Mobile Show Me the Money conference in Chicago, which is only a few weeks away. We have some great speakers from Google, Facebook, YP, ComScore, and many more. Check out the Local Search Insider for more info on that. So with that, thanks again, everyone, and have a great day.